Hello and welcome back to MAFT UK and welcome back to Atkinsons town up in the Lake District. We've already had one fish out of the water, so it's been a nice little early start. Not too big, £7. Paul got that one. I'm fishing with Paul, you'll see Paul in a bit. But yeah, we're here doing an overnighter on the island. Bit of a strange rule on here, 12 till 12, but I'm not sure if no one else is fishing that you can actually extend that. So I don't know if tomorrow morning, if nobody comes on, we can stay fishing here or not. I don't know, but we'll soon find out when I get told off by the by the fishery if we do stay on. Quick overnighter, 24 hours. The biggest fish in the water here is about £18. So we're not talking PBs on this lake. It never is, but it doesn't matter. It's just an absolutely wonderful place to fish. I wanted to fish an overnight here the first time I came, and the first time I could get on was tonight, so that's what we're doing. We have seen plenty of fish, even though we've got one, so there's lots of fish moving around, so hopefully we'll get one out of the bag later on today. Until then, I'm just going to chill out. Paul's setting back up again because he just finished that catch. I'll show you that now. Well, we're a couple hours in and Paul has his first on. We'll give him a couple of minutes and we'll get him in. Started for 10. Yeah. Also a little blank saver.
Yeah.
Look up. Okay.
Cool.
Right, go on then, Paul. Talk us through it. Baits, tactics.
Can't tell you the tactics. I'd shoot you otherwise. Heli with a SLK dumbbell wafter.
Okay.
Over a bed of hemp, maize and boilers.
Nice little start to the session, that, mate.
Yep, it's a blank saver.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice one. Well done.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there you go. And that is what it's all about in a place like this. It's not about big girls. They're just not in here. But we don't mind. So the baits I'm using this weekend will be primarily chorizo, or chorizo, and I've got my regular pop-ups as well. I do have some pepperami with me, which I may go to later on this afternoon if nothing happens. I'll show you the locations. If you've not seen this lake before or you don't know anything about it, I'll put a map up on the screen now. As you can see, we're on this little island here and I'm at this location. Paul is at this location. My spots are here and here, and Paul's spots are here and here, and the one up to the island is where he's just caught his first fish, which I'm not surprised. That's always a good spot, always catches that spot there. So there we go. So as you can see, that's quite a nice little lake. It's one of my favourites, to be honest. The size of the fish are irrelevant to me at this location. It's just a great place to fish and surprisingly very quiet. One of the other towns, Ratherheath, is closed today for a shoot, which I probably should be on or would like to be on, but unfortunately so that they've closed that one, and I would have expected this place to be a little bit more busy, but there's only 2 other anglers on this entire complex, so that's quite surprised at that, especially with the weather being what it is as well. It's a really nice day today and it's still quite warm. It's sort of like in the 14s, so it's relatively warm. So the water's not really cold. I've also got a couple of kilo of Capture Specialist Baits monkey mix. I've got some relevant pop-ups to go with that as well. Also got the special dust to try again. I might put that on the more meatier flavours that I'm using to my left. And see how I'll go on with using the monkey mix on the right. So 2 different formats. I've even got some halibut pellets thrown in with the PVA bag that I use. So I've got PVA bag fishing left and I'm just fishing a Ronnie rig on the right. So I've actually got a couple of pellets gone in there as well, just to see if that will work. But there you go. Who knows? Who knows? Is it too late in the year? Well, last week it wasn't too late. So I caught a decent fish last week on fish meal based boilies, and I've now gone up to a more sweeter, more citrusy flavour type pop-up and bottom bait from my right hand rod. So let's just see how that goes. So 2 different types of flavours, one more meatier and one more original. older type baits and a newish bait on the right. I do have my floaters with me this weekend. I decided to bring them along this time. Not so many ducks on. In fact, I haven't seen a single duck yet. I've only seen some coots as usual. But yeah, I'm going to give them a try. We have put a few out already, but nothing's come up for them yet. So let's just see how we go. Maybe later this afternoon when the sun comes round behind the trees, you can see the shadow on my face. But when the sun comes round here later, there won't be any shadow on me at all. And this whole bay will be clear. A bit of movement over there actually, it's just then. I'll have to have a look at that. Yeah, so let's wait till the sun comes round on it. Let's see if we can get them feeding off the surface. Been looking forward to this. Been looking forward to doing overnight here. There's only 2 bivvies allowed on overnight, so that's me and Paul, and that's it, the lake's ours until 12 o'clock tomorrow. Now, as I previously said, you can only fish there if you're doing an overnight, but I don't know how long that extends beyond the 12 o'clock, whether you can continue to fish after 12 o'clock if you've been there and no one else is turning up. I don't know. Like I said, I'm sure somebody will correct me if I'm wrong, and it's not like I'm doing something naughty. We'll just see how that pans out. I'll wait for the comments. If there's nobody here, then there's nobody here. Do you get me? I mean, why do you need to come off if there's nobody here? I understand if people want to come and fish these places in front of me. I get that. But I'm here till 12 o'clock anyhow, Sunday. So, I don't know. I don't know how that pans out. I guess I should phone and ask, but there's no signal, so I can't. You've met Paul before, quite a few times now. Where Paul found out I was stopping on air for the evening and said, "Can I join you?" Of course, why not? More the merrier. And there's only 2 of us anyway, isn't it? So It's not going to get busy, is it?
Exactly.
So first fish after a couple hours, yeah?
Yeah, it's £7.
Yeah, £7 wasn't it? Yeah. Nice little start though.
Yeah. Saves a blank.
That island is always a good spot to fish though, isn't it? It's always a good spot. So, not a very good swim for this to cast from, to be fair. You're quite limited. I'd like to get over to the island on the right hand side, but I can't get to it because of the reeds and the trees. But I may borrow your bushwhacker later. When I change my baits later on, I may just make that effort and see if I can, because my pole is never going to get anywhere near that distance. Yeah. Sun's coming round, it'll be baking in here in a minute, I hope.
Yeah, he's got fish up on his taking off surface as well.
Yeah, well, I've just got a few pellets out now. I just, as he was coming over a minute before, I just threw just a small handful, just to see if we can coax anything up, but no. Seems to be a little bit of a fad at the moment using these little weighted hooks, you know, with a little lead on the end of the hook to keep the weight of the hook heavier so it gets bedded into the lip more. There's a lot of videos out there now. People are jumping on the bandwagon all over, trying to get hits for their videos by advertising it. I know how the system works. I know how that's what you do. If there's a trend, you follow the trend and you get more hits. That's how you do it. Because I'm sure these little weights are going to start appearing everywhere. If they're not already in the shops, I don't know. Perhaps just on the top left where nobody usually uses them. But now that this Corda video has brought them out and they've caught fish and they've shown how it works and yada yada yada, and then lots of people will now jump on it, especially YouTubers. It's not a dig at anybody. It's just how you do it. Whatever the latest fad is, you join in. You release a video with that on and you get more hits. That's how it works. Perhaps I should do a thumbnail with a shock picture on it, something like this. Let's see if I can edit something up. No clickbait here. Well, there's my next solid bag to go out. Just going to lob that right out into the middle. Well, that's the Dave rig ready to go. As always, if we meet a local, we'll always have a stop and a chat and say hello and how you doing and everything. Well, today we've bumped into Manny. And how you doing, Manny? You alright?
It doesn't say right.
No, he looks like he's been here a long time, to be fair. Looks like he's done it. You've been on quite a session? Like about 3 years? Yeah, yeah. So what baits are you using? Yeah, I think he's keeping his cards close to his chest. That's what he's doing. So have you had out?
Take that as a no.
No, yeah. He's not a very chatty person. Well, Manny, it's been absolutely fantastic speaking to you. Really nice to meet you. And
You smell a bit.
yeah, you stink.
Nice to meet you.
No, man of very few words, that one.
Yeah, it's not often you meet people like him. So we're headed into our afternoon. The sun's right in our face now. We're still on down to one fish.
Yeah.
There's quite a few fishermen on now. There's a couple of lads that we know. We've had a visit from Dave, and we've got to do a shout out, haven't we?
Yeah. Paul Ashton.
Paul Aston, how you doing, Paul? You all right? Nice to hear about you.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently you watched the channel, so nice one that. Thank you very much for your support for the channel. And yeah, so there's your shout out, Paul. I did have a bit of a foobar with my one of my rigs earlier, didn't I?
It was a new style hook.
A new style. Well, yeah,
That's debatable though.
yeah. It was. I made me rig, and I was quite pleased with it. And then I noticed that there wasn't really a hook on it. Can you imagine if I hadn't have noticed, and I'd have been fishing with that, and I got a run, and I lost it, and I'd have reeled it in, and I would have sworn blind it took the hook. Somehow, I didn't put the hook on. Gassing, too busy gassing. Yeah, it could have been the Heineken. That's what it could have been. 0. Alcohol free. It's nice, though, isn't it?
It is nice.
Yeah. That would have got somebody's backs up straight away, wouldn't it? Pulled straight into that. Pick up the other line.
Is it?
Come over it. He's in. Oh, no, he's not. He's in now.
He's no.
Yes. Brilliant. Nice one. Thanks for that. Got it.
plump now thing, isn't it?
We'll say 13 and we'll go for 11, yeah?
Yeah, because that's 13. I
Yeah.
just settled on 13, hasn't it?
Yeah. How's that shot?
Cracking.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So there we go. At long last, it's took some time, but an 11 pounder that's caught on a Dave rig, which is pepperami topped with a pop-up, which is capture specialist baits, and that was right tight into the margins as we've seen earlier today. And I've got to admit, I'm happy with this, purely and simply because I didn't think it was going to go. I lost a bit of confidence because of the time it's been over there. But yeah, look at that. It's a nice little fish, that. Nice little 11 pounder. Well chuffed. There we go. So, thank you very much, Mr. Fish. And let's get you back in. Shall we have a look at the other side? Let's have a look at the other side. Oh, come on, baby. There we go, there's the other side. No. Yeah, well chuffed. Happy. Come on, let's get you in. There she goes. So there we go. After many hours of sat here in that left-hand margin, waiting for this to go off, waiting for it to rip off, slowly losing confidence in it. If you remember earlier on, I said I don't know whether to bring it back in, I don't know whether to move it or just sit on my hands. Well, I sat on my hands with that left-hand rod and I've reaped the rewards for it. I know it's 11. That's another liner. I know it's only 11 pound carp, but it's 11 pound carp and I'm well chuffed with that. The only thing I'm not happy with, my scales were jumping all over the place, weren't they?
Yeah.
Not happy with that at all. Never been overly impressed with them scales, but yeah, I think if we was to nail it at 11 pound, I don't think
it was 11 pound because it settled on 13. So
yeah. Well, there's always 2 pound in that sling.
Yeah.
I know that sling weighs 2 pound piss wet through, so I know that's an 11 pounder, and I always deduct it anyway, so I don't need to tear them because I know. But yeah, well chuffed, absolutely over the moon with that. If we had some alcohol, we'd celebrate. But
wishful thinking.
But we don't, so we're not. We could make a coffee. Yeah. But yeah, absolutely over the moon. That's Paul's got 2 now. He's got 1 carp and 1 bream. Do we count the bream?
Yeah.
No, one carp each. We're not in competition with each other. No, we're not. We're not in competition with each other, but it's just good fun. It's just nice that we've both got a fish out of this water. Still got the rest of the night. It's probably around about 10 o'clock. It's maybe a bit later. Let's just see how it goes. Let's just keep hoping those rods keep beeping and get another one out. So yeah, well chuffed with that. Well chuffed. Now, I always say chuffed. I always say well chuffed. Well chuffed. Chuffed. Chuffed charity. There you go. How you doing, Paul? Hope you're well, mate. Ian, Neil, and all the rest of the gang. Martin. Hope you're all well. Yeah, so yeah, let's get back into the fishing and let's feed some more rats.
Yeah, true.
Well, this little devil got me in a right mess. Snagged me up for a few minutes. Thought I was going to lose it. But for a little 7 pounder, what a scrap. Perhaps a little bit more than, yeah, so. Yeah, absolutely fought like a bugger, this one. Only a little tiny fish, £7 maybe. I'm not going to weigh it, but it caused me a right mess. It's going to take me some time to sort out. Got me straight into the weeds as well. Got me snagged up. So I had to wait for about, you know, four minutes till it freed itself so I can get it out. But yeah, this one fought hard for a little fish. But carp number 2, I'll take it. I'm not going to weigh it. Let's get it back in. Actually, I will weigh it because it might be a little bit more than 7, I think. Seven six. Yeah. £7 6 ounce. You little devil. What a scrapper. Crazy thing about this one is it actually bit like a bream. So the take was just like a bream. But when I struck into it, it went mental. Well, I couldn't save that rig. I had to cut it off and start again and make a new one. But that pepperami and capture specialist baits pop up on the top. Orange just seems to work. I've no more orange pop-ups. I've gone through all the ones in the tub, so I need to go get some more because they just seem to work. I don't know, not your yellows, not your pinks, not your whites, but the orange ones just seem to do the trick. I don't know why. But all the way through this entire summer, there's all these sessions that I've been doing, been using orange pop-ups, and the majority of the fish I've caught has been on pepperami and orange pop-ups. And that one made a right mess. I know it seems crazy to be woken up in the middle of the night for a £7 fish, and I know it doesn't seem right. You think, why bother? But we're not talking, there's no PB in this water. I'm here to fish. That's what I'm here to do. And if that means it's a £7, then it's a £7, and I don't mind at all. It's still the excitement, it's still the challenge of getting fish out of the water, and that's what's important to me. Not the size of the fish. You have to remember that. So I don't mind. I'm quite happy to catch that. I'll catch another bugger in another half hour or two if I need to. But if they all scrap like that one, then bring it on. Bring it on. Yeah, it was good. A funny bite though, just like a bream, you know, beep, 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 beep. That sort of, oh, bloody bream. See, I wouldn't want to be woken up by a bream. But when I struck into it, I knew it wasn't a bream straight away because it started fighting, it started scrapping. It must have been quite lethargic as it picked the bait up. Don't know what was going on. But yeah, good hook. It wasn't coming out. Perfect. That's a bit better. 15.8, 13.8. There we go. And there we go. 13.8. Yeah, look at that. Nice little mirror. Yeah, fish number 3. Yeah, well chuffed with this one. It certainly looks like they fish at night here. And that was with another pop-up, just a pop-up, but not on the Dave rig this time. So yeah, very good. Very happy with that. Yeah, lovely. Good sized fish in this water, that 13. Good size, they only go to 18. So I'm pleased with that. That was right in the centre of the lake as well. So can't grumble, not complaining. They don't come much bigger than that in this lake. But if they keep eating all my boilies, they might get bigger. Yeah, I have no idea what the time is. I must admit I'm quite shattered now. But worth it. That's what I'm here for. Worth it. Loved it. Yes. I was just getting back in my pit and my left hand rod ripped off. I lost that one. Yeah. It was a drop back. I tightened it up again. It dropped back again. I tightened it up again. It dropped back again. I struck into it a couple of winds and I lost it. So it wasn't really hooked. But yeah, that was a potential 4th fish. So I'm straight back out onto that spot again. It's not easy in the dark, but there you go. Let's see how we get on. Yeah. Oh well, never mind. One lost. Not complaining. Bit of a drop back there. Keep my eye on that whilst I'm facing the camera. Well, it's not an early morning, it's actually nearly 11:30. And technically we have half an hour left to finish on this spot, but I think the general consensus is really, well, after speaking to the lads yesterday, that if there's nobody coming on, you don't have to get off. It makes no sense that have to come off, because if no one else is coming on, because you just put your rods over there and fish the same spots. So I could just take my pod round now, set up over there. So there's no sense in it. So anyway, we'll soon find out, won't we? Cracking night last night, really enjoyed it. A 7 and a 13. Yeah, I did miss another one as well, shortly after. So they kept me awake all through the night. Don't mind that, really. Oh, Paul's rods are going. Yeah, sorry about that. That was Paul bringing in another bream. Gutted. Yeah, so there's a bit of life in the water yet. Didn't do much yesterday, but the weather conditions are completely different. It's overcast, it's trying to rain on us a little bit. We're going to start the slow pack up anyway, so let's see how we go with that. Yeah, good night, really enjoyed it, Yeah, just the one fish missed. I wonder if I'd have had one of those weighted hooks. That wouldn't have been the case. So we'll have a bit of a wander around this little island. I didn't really show it earlier, but I'll show it now. The casting, you don't have a lot of water to cast to in this one, especially if anybody turns up over there. So there's not a lot of water to this one, this peg. But if we wander around to this peg, you'll see why it's fish more. So the obvious spot is over to the island, but you've got a lot more water to play with. There's Paul's bivvy, Fox Frontier I think it is. So you've got a lot more options especially surface fishing, anything like that. A lot more options here. So this swim's fished more on the island than any other one, I would say. We have our own bridge to it. No sign of any barbo anyway. Mind you, I wasn't really fishing for them. So we have our own bridge. There is another peg here which you could put a bivvy on, I guess. You know, when we first turned up, there was a bit of action over there, but there was only a small carp or a tench you could see in the far bank. And then we come round to, oh, there's Manny asleep. That scares you when you see it for the first time. And there we are, platform 13 I'm on. So that's a quick tour of the island. Today I'm on my bivvy wise, I've got my STI 2-man 10,000. I presume that's the hydrostatic head. It's quite an old bivvy. Could get 2 bivvies in there, I do not know. But it's perfect for one and a bit of room. So you've got all the room for 1 man for a longer session. But for 2, I don't know how you would do that. There we are. Just trying to get things to start drying out. We're only 2 or 3 hours now from packing up anyway. So I'm going to start putting my stuff away now. Right, okay, well Paul's bugging out now. We've moved off the island, as you can tell. The island is just there. I'm staying for another couple hours just to continue fishing over towards that feeder because I've got the time to be able to do it, but Paul's got other things he needs to be doing instead of fishing. So listen mate, thank you very much for joining me again.
Been a good one.
Really appreciate it. You did get a carp out, so it wasn't a blank.
Yeah, typical, there's 2 bream to
Well, that's just the way. I mean, you were feeding bream feed. You were using bream feed, and he always told me don't use bream feed. But there you go. So I'm quite surprised, to be honest, that you didn't get a lot more from that island, because that's usually a good spot.
I expected a few more, but
yeah, yeah. But that's fishing. So the next time we see Paul, in a couple of weeks' time, we've actually booked on Penners for your birthday celebration.
Yeah.
How old are you? 22?
Yeah, something like that, yeah. Had 20 years.
Yeah, so we're going to just do an overnighter on Penners Pool in Clearwater in a couple of weeks' time. But until then, Paul, thanks again, mate.
No.
And I'll see you next time.
Don't be giving Manny any of them tips.
No, Manny can keep his tips to himself anyway.
He can keep the island.
Yeah, miserable git. Never said a word, did he? Right, okay.
Right, over and out.
Oh, no, we don't say over and out. Over is over to you to continue the conversation. Out means I've finished the conversation. So if you say over and out, what you're saying is over to you, but I'm not listening. So it's never over and out, it's just out, over to you. So for the last couple hours, what I'm going to do is just put another... Last couple hours, I've rebaited up in the area that I was fishing last night. I couldn't quite get to exactly where I wanted to get because of the overhang, so I've just had to come a little bit further away from it. But my 2 locations I've got right now are here and here. I invested quite a bit of time in this corner over the last 24 hours, so rather than just pack up and abandon it, I was still getting a liner this morning, so fish is still returning to find the bait there. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just clinging on to the last couple hours, see if I can get another one out and make it a nice round 4. So there we are, or a nice even 4, should I say. There's only me on at the moment. No one else has turned up yet. It is gone 1 o'clock now. The peg I was on earlier is there. Centre a shot now. That's the peg I was on this morning. Now we came off the island probably 12:30, 1 o'clock-ish. Nobody was on here anyway. We didn't need to come off, but Paul was going, so I thought, well, I can still fish in the same area I want to, which is over here. So I thought I'd bring everything over to the car, just sit on my chair, basic stuff out, and let's see how we go. So what have I got in the future? Well, I've got nothing planned except Penner's Pool. Now, I would like to go back down to Bluebells, which I haven't fished for quite some time now. So I'd like to go down there and give that a couple of days. Now, I do have still got 2 days holiday left to take. I mean, I've got March holiday booked, but I've still got 2 days floating that I can use up. So I might just do a Thursday, Friday down at Bluebells. I just need to wait for I don't need to wait for anything. I want to wait for the bivvy to turn up, and I take my bivvy down, use my big boy rods and everything, and get that out into the water. Yeah, I'd like to do that. I think I might. Bluebells is tickling me right now. Which lake I do, I don't know. Whether it is Bluebell, Mallard, or Kingy, or Swan, I don't know. I'd probably get down now and see how they've been fishing, speak to the bailiff and see what they have to say before I make that decision. Feels like it's going to pour down any minute, so I'm going to start packing up. Don't want to get caught out by a shower last thing. Well, that is it for this session, and I got to admit, I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I was looking forward to staying on here. Now I've done it, and I'm really pleased I did. 3 fish in the bag, 1 missed. I'm happy with that result, especially for my first overnighter on here. Yep, next time then, Penner's Pool. See you later, bye bye.